Imagine what our lives would look like if we allow Yah's will to be done in our lives. My name is Sherry LaVon Harris, and I'm the host of His Will for Your Life podcast. This podcast is a safe and non-evasive place for others to be authentically themselves, unashamed, while receiving the healing, deliverance, and balance they need to become whole and effective servants in the kingdom. Now join us for our live broadcast. Greetings. I'm your host, Sherry LaVon Harris, and welcome to another episode of His Will for Your Life. We are in for a treat. We have the panel discussion, and we're going to be talking about purposeful intentions as it relates to dating through the eyes of a believer. It can be a deeply meaningful and intentional experience for many believers. Dating is not just about finding a partner, but about seeking a relationship that aligns with their faith and values. As a believer, what does dating look like to you? Stay tuned and let's talk about it. We'll be right back.
His Will for Your Life with Cherie Harris. This is your weekly Wednesday 7 p.m. podcast. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. Jeremiah 29:11. Informative, hot topics, testimonies, interviews, along with your weekly guests and more. And now here's your host, Cherie Harris.
Once again, I'm your host, Sherry LaVon Harris, and we're back with a partial panel. And hopefully the others will be joining us soon. Good evening, guys.
Good
I'm
evening.
going to let Nancy go first and reintroduce yourself. You are a standard panelist, so everyone should know you, but for those who don't, we're going to give you that opportunity.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to His Will for Your Life, one of my favorite places to be once a month, if I can make it. I'm Nancy Denise Smith, and I'm just a child of God who loves God. I love people, love to interact with people, and I'm currently residing in Montgomery, Alabama, caring for my dad, and so it's a blessing to be here today. Thank you, Sherry.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Yeah, Sherry.
Ray.
Hello, fellow panelists when the others come, add an S to that. But I'm Ray, and I'm hailing out of Kansas City. And for those who are listening, no, I'm not one of those who are crying about the loss last week, so I'm good with that. Yes, nonetheless, I reside in Kansas City, and glad to be back. Love this podcast, and hopefully to bring you something of value today during this time.
Great. So you guys, you want to have a little show about nothing till they get back? Or you want to go dive right into what we're going to be talking about?
You lead and we follow.
So let's talk about how our day was. How's it going so far?
I'll say that again.
Let's talk about our day. How's it going so far?
Go ahead, man.
My day is okay. I was up most of the night, so I'm pretty tired. We had a storm here last night that was pretty rough, and it had all the dogs in the neighborhood afraid. So the screeching and the screaming of the dogs, really kept me up last night. And then one of the bangs from the thunder. I normally love thunder, but this was on another level. Kind of knocked one of the doors open, not the main doors to the house, but a door, I think, to that furnace. And so I just had a weird night. So I'm just tired today, but I'm here. Yeah.
Yes. Ray.
It's been a good day so far. I didn't have quite an exciting night as Nancy did. But I can say today, it's cold here in Kansas City. It is cold. It is cold.
Wow.
It is cold. And I'm going to get down some seriously cold temperatures over the next 4 days or so. But beautiful sunshine out though today. So I was enjoying the sun, but it's a good day. Didn't have a nap today. So if you see, no, I won't doze off, but it's been a good day. Can't complain.
That's good. That's good. My day was sort of like Nancy's. I couldn't sleep last night as well. And then daybreak, I did take a little nap, but nonetheless, I'm here. So we're going to just go right into it. I see someone trying to come in, but not fully. So we're just going to start off with our questions. And so we're talking about purposeful intentions as it relates to dating. So one of my questions for you is, what does the term purposeful intention means to you in the context of dating as a believer?
Well, it's between me and you, Ray. One of us got to go first.
It looks like you want to go first, so
I'll take it. I would say dating with a purpose, being a Christian, is dating towards being in a relationship that God smiles on, and of course, that's marriage. If we're going to be in a full committed relationship the way we should. So purposeful dating for me would be with somebody that was on the same page as I am, that wanted the same things that I do, and dating not to just, kick it for 5 years, but, to one day be one couple married.
Absolutely.
Yeah, dating to be married.
Yes. Right.
All right. So that's terminology there, purposeful intention. I'm going to start saying what a lot of people I hear say that, and when I ask them, what does that mean? Purposeful intentions, or just the word purposeful. They're dating for a purpose, and I find a lot of people have not really fully thought through what that means. Thought through what that means in terms of a relationship, in terms of the end goal. I think they do have some things in mind that they might think they want it to be, but when you're dating, you're meeting somebody new, you're getting to learn them, you're getting to kind of know where you stand and the things that are important to you. Now you're getting to know the other person, and trying to figure out, are we two people that can come together, right? And do a relationship. And a lot of time, what I wouldn't want is for it to be one-sided, that somebody's come to fulfill my desire, right? But to me, the purpose has got to be, how do we fulfill each other's desires, each other's goals, each other's dreams, where we want to go, and it's, things that can get in that way, it's, family, even our beliefs and our faith. Someone might not believe the exact same thing, or we might, call ourselves that we're in the same faith, but certain parts of the faith we might not agree on, such as tithing. We might not agree on tithing, might not agree. I might say, hey, I'm a stickler for 10%. Might say, well, how about 5%, right? So those things are coming into play. So how do we purposefully work around those if we're going to be, so to me, that comes into purposeful, is to find those things out, like Nancy said, ultimately, trying to decide, we're trying to decide if we are a good match, that we're going to build into marriage and build a relationship that's lasting.
Very good. And that's really good coming from a male's point of view as well. It's usually the woman, if you will. What impact does purposeful intention have on the relationship dynamic?
I think a lot of it depends upon where we are individually, right? And really kind of the path where we want ourselves, right? Sometimes it's timing. One person might be like, hey, we want to get married within the next 2 years. Another person might be 5 years, right? So it does have an impact, right? To me, it does have an impact because at the first place, the two people need to be and have the same thought and goals and aspiration, right? So you can't be 2 years and not be 5 years, because then we start now having issues there, and the person who can wait for 5 years, they're sitting back chilling and relaxing, enjoying life, while the other person's like, come on, let's get to it, let's move it along. And you're sitting there, I mean, it even to talk about building a family, kids, somebody might want 5 kids, another person might want 2. Right. So, it does have an impact in overall on the relationships and, what you're building to and where you ultimately want to be together.
Awesome. Thank you for that. We're going to receive Prophet Omar and allow him to introduce himself to our audience before we go any further.
Hello, everybody. I am Omar Harris. I'm here out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and I am looking forward to having this conversation. Thank you all for having me. Thank you, Sherry, for having me and being patient with my technical difficulties.
That's okay. Anything can happen when we go live, so that's understandable. So we were talking about what steps. No, what were we talking about? I can't even remember. I'm sorry. How do you define purposeful intentions? That's what we were talking about.
Okay. How do I define purposeful intentions? That's the question?
Yes, as it relates to dating and relationships.
I think defining purposeful intentions until really just having a plan on the progression forward in dating. What's the purpose of it? What's the end goal? And okay, so what are the steps that we need to take to get to the end goal that we both agree on? And so in my humble opinion, I think that's what purposeful would be. Purposeful intentions. That's how I would define it.
Great. Nancy, did you want to answer the part 2 question?
What was it again? Say it. I'm having trouble hearing you guys today, but
I'm so sorry.
That's okay. It's okay. I can hear you. I'll stress. I'll do the strain. Just repeat the question.
Yes, ma'am. What impact do purposeful intentions have on the relationship dynamic?
Well, it can have a bad impact or a good impact to me. First of all, let me just speak for myself. At the seasoned woman that I am, I need a guy that already knows what he wants. I'm turned off if you're my age and you still, as a Christian, don't know what you want. So we might have some things that, like Ray was saying, that we might differ in opinion and, we might not be the same. And so, but no, I always go into the mindset of nobody's perfect and we're not twins. We're not alike, but it's I'm gonna try not to use the word turn on. I'm gonna try to use something more better than that. But it feels really nice, first of all, when a guy already knows what he wants. I don't like the games, and the excuses, and so if you really know what you want and you come, having the conversation that you can have a conversation, that you can even have a conversation, because it's just not easy holding up that end of whatever that relationship is supposed to be. You're the only one talking, so you got to be able to communicate. You got to know what you want already. Even if it's not what I want, I will respect the fact that you do know what you want, even if it doesn't line up with me. So I that's important to me, because other than that, where I am in life, in my heart, as it relates to what I want in a mate, it's a waste of my time. If you just are just indecisive and you're just interested in me for ...
Great.
Yeah.
You need the question? That was awesome, Nancy. Do you need the question repeated, Omar?
No, you said what impact can purposeful intention have on a relationship? Is that correct?
Yes. Relationship dynamic. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the impact of purposeful intention on the relationship dynamic. I think that it can remove the confusion of what direction we're going in, right? It can alleviate that, and it can also be used as a measuring stick to see if we are meeting these goals or these milestones that it take to get to where we're going, to get to the expected end of the plan that we've laid out in the direction that we want to go. Now, also, uh, I also understand that you can have the intention, but it also allows us to see, is this thing just intention, or is it actually moving into a reality?
Yes.
Because sometimes intentions can be good, but they can never come. Sometimes they may not come into fruition if things aren't moved along accordingly along with the plan.
Oh, just had that conversation.
Yeah, I like that.
That's good. That's real good.
Because there's work required in it, and sometimes people, they have the intention, but the steps to get to the manifestation or the fruition of it, it's not progressed along the way, and it doesn't come in to the full thing. So,
All right, Ray, what steps can individuals take to clarify their intentions before entering into a relationship?
I think, I go back, I would say communication, and follow that with clear communication, right? Just be very clear, to be very open and forthright with what your expectations are, right? And I think that's where it begins. But you also have to be honest with yourself, right? As to what you're asking for, what you're expecting. Is it reasonable? I hold for myself is that, I'm not going to ask you to do anything that I'm not prepared to do myself, right? So if I'm asking you to go a mile, I'm going to be ready. I'm going to already going that mile, and I'm ready to go another mile with it, right? And the same thing, if you're asking me for something, then you're also going to need to make the step there. So a lot of times what you see is that somebody want one thing, but they're not willing to put into, like Omar said, the work. It's all, this requires work, right? Well, you can't ask me to do, you can't want something and expect only the one person to put the work in to get there, right? If we're trying to come together, it's two people have to put the work in, right? So that's part of purposeful intention. You're going to ask, I'm going to give my time, my energy, everything that I need to give. I also expect that from the other side as well, right? I also expect that you're putting the same energy that I'm putting in to get where we're saying that we want to, we want to get to.
Great point. Nancy?
I'll repeat the question again.
Yes, ma'am. What steps can individuals take to clarify their intentions before entering into a relationship?
Just those initial conversations, like Ray has already said, that just being honest and letting a person know. Sometimes people aren't honest because they're interested, so they say, what they think you want to hear. And they, I'm just going to go here. We call them ladies. We call them their representative. It's not really the person that they are. It's their representative. And then who they really are comes out later. And not that you have to lay out everything on the line, the first couple of times that I talk to you, but just being honest, that alone is attractive to me. Just be honest. It may not be, necessarily what I agree with or what I want, but again, I'm gonna give you kudos for just being honest in those first conversations.
Mhm.
They just have a huge impact. How many times, not just men and women relationship, but how many times have we entered into certain relationships? I mean, even with my job, my last job before I had to come here, what they hired me to do is not what they hired me to do. When my first day, it was something that I'd never done before, and so they weren't honest with me, and I was honest with them in that interview. It's the same with a friendship. If you're not honest in the beginning of, everybody's not compatible, so don't say what you think I want, to hear. I love music. I'm a musician. I've been in ministry most of my life. I love to sing. I can't tell you the guys that have made themselves, the same interested, and then they're really not at all. Just if you'd rather walk a dog or play tennis or fish, or if you're an outdoor, because I'm not an outdoors person. I lived in Alaska 28 years. Not an outdoors person. Not that I won't do something with you outdoors, but I'm gonna tell you up front, I'm not really an outdoors person. But if I fall for you, it's fun to do stuff that you may not be used to doing. That that's part of getting to know each other, and giving. That's that give and take part of a relationship. So
Yes.
I just think just being honest and upfront.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You need me to repeat the question, Omar?
I'm sorry. Yes, I was engulfed in what Nancy and Ray were saying because it was fucking good.
What steps can individuals take to clarify their intentions before entering into a relationship?
As previously stated, I think some things are just simple to me. Some things just ain't gotta be that hard. It's a simple conversation, right? It's a simple conversation. But I also agree with Ray and Nancy. Um, I think that when we state those intentions, I think we need to ask ourselves, are they realistic? Because sometimes we can put and expect and state things up on people that is not even reasonable if you sit and think about it,
Yes.
Yeah.
right? And we expect them to do these things, but it's not realistic in some ways. And I think that sometimes uh, it can cause a problem, like Nancy said. Then the person may like the other person so much, they might try to do those things even though they're not realistic. And now they have to become somebody that they're not. And you can't keep that up for long.
Yeah.
You can't.
That's right.
I always say
Go ahead.
the real person shows up in 3 months or less.
Yeah, because and it may not even be a bad intention, but they like you so much, so they're going to try to meet these unrealistic things that you're saying, and then 3 months later they can't meet them, and it just crumbles.
Yeah.
That's the real thing. I'm going to take a break, and we see a gentleman that just came in. What is your name, sir?
I think it's Daryl. How y'all doing this evening?
Hey,
Yeah,
Daryl.
Hi, Daryl.
Sorry for being late. I apologize.
Now 3.0.
That's right, Junior. That's right, Junior.
So we're having a conversation about purposeful intentions, as you know, and we just answered one of the questions. What steps can individuals take to clarify their intentions before entering into a relationship?
Tell them. First of all, you need to know yourself. I didn't hear anybody else's answers, so these are my answers. You need to know who you are yourself, and then be able to articulate who it is that you are, and then that way you can pass it on to someone else. You got to be confident, though. You can't be out here shucking and jiving.
Yeah.
That's true.
Can't be out here shucking and jiving because people take advantage of your lack of understanding of who it is that you are. So,
or change you from who you are if you're not confident.
If you're not, if you're not confident.
So we talked about communication. So let's go further with this discussion. What role does communication play in establishing purposeful intentions in a relationship? And can you share any of these examples or strategies for discussing this topic?
I'll go.
Okay. Yes.
Conversation, conversation. I'm so glad you asked this question because I wanted to finagle this point somewhere in this conversation. This technology has it so that, and I'm not talking about the 3 men on this chat. I don't know you like that, but a lot of men like to only communicate through texting. And I don't want to build a relationship with you through texting. It has made a lot of people lazy as it relates to having true and real conversations. I know that texting has a purpose, but I'm not a texter. If I have a lot to say, I'd rather voice text you. And then I'm not hard pressed to believe that you're that interested in me if you never want to hear my voice. When you're interested in me, you want to hear my voice because I definitely want to hear yours. I can't hear a text message, and then sometimes text messages send over the wrong waves and the wrong message, and
The
so
wrong tone.
I can only hear what you're saying if I hear your voice, and I don't like that. And so, it's a lot of things that people that have been turned away because all they want to do is text message you. I think it's a new lazy way of communication, and you're never even going to get to know me like that. I like to laugh, I like to have fun, I like to go deep in conversations so we can get to know each other. I'm not sitting up writing no book with you through no text messages. That's ridiculous. And
It is an easy way to
seriously,
avoid accountability, though.
I don't like that. So that's my answer. One of my answers to that.
All right, Daryl.
Ask me the question one more time. I'm sorry.
You chimed in like you had it together. What role does communication play in establishing purposeful intentions in a relationship? Can you share some examples of effective communication?
Communication is A1, is number one. If you can't verbally, like I said, if you can't verbally state what it is that you're interested in and what you're not interested in. Okay, so I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I'm that guy. I'm a little different when it comes to communication and trying to date somebody. Like, the number one question I hate for a woman to ask me is, what kind of woman are you interested in? You're not gonna get the answer from me. Simply because it's not that I don't know, it's just that I don't want you try to send your representative in thinking that's gonna get you through the door. It's not. I'd rather, if I like you, I'm going to approach you. I'm going to, say what it is that I got to say. I'm, do whatever it is I got to do. And y'all don't believe this about me, but I'm extremely shy. So when I reach out to somebody, and I'm an introvert as well. When I reach out to a woman, I have studied her as much as I could. I have learned as much as I could about her in whatever setting, whether it's through social media, whether it's through in public, whatever. But I'm that guy. I'm gonna tell you exactly what it is. I'm gonna give it all to you up front. I learned it over the years that a lot of times, if you just go ahead and put it out there, you'll get what it is that you're looking for. So I'm not really that person to just hear what you say. Like, I'm gonna listen to what you got to say, but I'm also gonna watch what you're doing as well. So that's me, though.
Right.
Yeah, so I'm like you, Daryl. Before I already know what type of woman I'm going to approach, right, based on things that I've seen, hear, observe along the way. So if I go there to approach you, yes, you'll need to ask me what type of woman, because I already seen something in you that attracts me to you. So when I come to you, then no. So, and then anything else, it's gonna manifest itself over time. I'm also like Nancy, like, please, I don't like texting that much, and I don't want to read a book. You texting, right? I like to hear voice. I like to hear you laugh. I want to know what kind of crazy laugh you have, right? LOL doesn't do it for me, or LDMO doesn't do it for me. Right? But so it's like, no, I want to hear your voice. I want to hear the thing. I want to hear the change in your voice when we talk about something serious, right? I want to know, are you really serious about this topic that we're talking about, or is everything a joke, right? So I want to hear. I already know who I am, and like I hear people talk. So what type of? I'm not looking for a type. I know who I want, right? I know the tangibles that you're going to have to come with, right? So even if I tell you, ultimately you can't fake that, because if ultimately, like I said, given 3 to 6 months, or people have time 3 weeks, 6 months, 3 months, whatever, you can't mask forever, right? Because ultimately that other side is going to come out, right? And it wouldn't be pleasant for everybody. I want to see it as like, ooh, wasn't expecting that.
Wow, y'all coming off the gate. Oh my.
I think communication is paramount, but I think communication is also layered in the respect that we're speaking, right? Because when I'm communicating a certain thing in a relationship setting, right? When I'm communicating, I need to make sure, again, I think it tied back to what I said before. Is the thing I'm communicating actually doable for this person? Because sometimes you communicate something to people and they heard you, but they may not respond to the communication. That doesn't mean it wasn't communicated. It means either they're dismissing what you're saying, or they don't have the capacity to do it. It's one or the other, right? So I think communication is paramount, but I think along with the communication, both ways, we have to evaluate and ask ourselves, okay, can I actually do the thing that is communicated to me? Is it realistic? Is it doable? Can I sustain that? I think all of these come with communication. It's not just, I said it to you. There's an evaluation process that goes along with this. Can I do this? Is it realistic? Is this something that I have to become somebody else to do? All of these things come along with communication to me. And I think they have to be evaluated along the way to establish a firm foundation.
You sound pretty good, guys. You ready to go on?
Before you move on.
Yes, ma'am.
I just want to say to Daryl and Ray and any other man that might be listening, if I ask you, what kind of woman are you looking for? I don't mean type.
Ooh.
I want to know if you're looking for me to be a woman that's going to treat you like your mom, or a woman that's saved, a woman that is supportive, a woman that's going to help you reach your goals and stand behind you, because there's a lot of women that aren't like that. So from a female's point of view, I just wanted to say that openly, that if I ask you that, because we know, sometimes men, approach you because of, to me, physical attraction is one of the main things that we see, but it's deeper than that. So if I ask you that, I just want to make sure that we're not wasting each other's time, because I might not be who you're looking for. I might be attractive to you, but I might not be what you're looking for. That's why, as a woman, I would ask you that. I find it interesting that those aren't questions that you don't care to deal with. That's interesting. That, nothing wrong with it. I'm not judging you. We listen and we don't judge. But
Can I judge Nancy a little bit?
Snapping fingers emojis. Come on, put them up. What's up,
Can I
Daryl?
judge Nancy a little bit? I listen, but I want to judge a little bit. See, here's the thing. As me, if I like you, okay, I'm going to, all the stuff that you mentioned, I'm going to find out along the way, because who it is that you are, you can't hide. Like Ray said, like, I'm not interested in if you're gonna have my back, anything like that, until that time arises. I'm not gonna date a woman that's not saved. She's not even on my list. So everything else, I'm going to find out along the way. I'm going to find out how you handle your money. I'm going to find out how you're going to how you handle the wait staff at the restaurants. I'm going to find all of these things out along the way. So I don't need for somebody to tell me. I just need for you to show me. Just be who it is that you are. because I'm that type of person. If you say, okay, well, if we're 3 days in and you said what type of woman that you are, now you set me back, because now I don't know if you're asking because you want to show me something, or are you going to make an adjustment for who it is that you are. So I just want you to we're just gonna walk it out, and I'm gonna see it along the way. Y'all, that's Alexa in the background. My bad.
So I would jump. So Nancy, I hear what you're saying, right? I hear what you're saying, but for like Darryl said, from my standpoint is I'm going to see that, right?
Yes.
And I want to have somebody who have my back, but you can't tell me you have my back. I got to see it.
You got to show me. Yeah.
Right. You got to show me, and some of it is going to show me along the way. Yeah. Just a normal thing. I don't need to be in a high pressure situation for that to come out. Just a normal thing. Just in my everyday coming and going. Do you have my back? Okay, I'm working. Understand that. Okay, today I might have to work a little bit longer. Do you understand that? Today, I have kids. Okay, we had to, I have to adjust our plans a little bit, so I need to go and do something for my kids. Are you going to understand that? So all of that stuff will come out eventually. You can tell me that all you want, but to me, I'm going to be like I want to see it. Just like from my standpoint, if I'm going to tell you that I'm going to be there for you, I'm going to show you that I'm going to be there, because I don't want to just be my word. I want you to see it in action, right? So then when that time comes for me to step up, I'm going to step up and I'm going to do that. And that's what I want you to do. So pardon me, I'm going to take that a little bit of a grain of salt, because I'm saying I want to see it, right? Hearing it alone doesn't do it all for me. I want to see it in action.
Right.
Okay, I'm going to ask you this then. So what if a woman asks you guys, what kind of men are you? Tell me how you are in a relationship. Who are you as the man in a relationship? Because I want to know.
I got no problem with telling her that. Yeah. I got no problem with telling her that.
But I can't tell you who I am.
Yeah.
Because to me, we're talking about purposeful. We ain't talking about chilling. We ain't talking about, a lot of times on these, on a date site, the guy will say looking for chatting and just friendship. They're not really looking for anything more. But today we're talking about purposeful dating as a Christian.
Yeah.
So I got you. How else do we know each other if we don't ask those kind of questions? Because I want you to tell me, and hopefully because you're a Christian, you'll tell me the truth. What kind of dude are you in a relationship? What if you're looking for a woman that can cook?
That's the
difference. Because I definitely want to do it. It's not the end all be all, but I would love to have a man that can cook. Simply because I've been cooking for everybody all of my life. I would love a night where he says, "Baby, I'm gonna cook tonight. Get it." What if it never comes up because we're dating, and it never really comes up if I can cook, and you're a man that really wants a woman that can cook. I can cook now, y'all. Just letting you know that. But and you find out when we're in it that not only can I not cook, but I don't like to either. Don't ask me to cook.
But see, here's
that's what I'm saying.
You see, the only thing I'm saying, again, I hear you, and I'm saying, I'm just saying for me, but to me, that will come out, right?
Okay,
right.
That will come out.
I think I understand. I get it.
Yeah, very quickly, whether you either like to cook or don't like to cook, or you're good cook or not, right? That will come out pretty easy. For me personally, that will come out pretty easy. So I don't have to wait a long time to see that. If we're using cooking as an example, I don't have to wait. There are things I don't have to wait for a long time to see come out, right? And things will start manifesting itself, right? So you have a very good point. I'm not discounting your point to ask this question. To say for me, I'm like, and I'm in the show me state. So show me more than tell me, right? So show me. I want to see that, because that's what I can take to the bank.
Okay.
And nowadays, if you ask nowadays, if you ask a woman if she can cook, that's like a cardinal sin. They're gonna ask, "Well, can you build a house?" you can't ask these questions today. So all of that stuff you're saying, Nancy, if a woman asks me that, I'll tell her who I am. But still, she has to see it, because that's the difference between men and women. Men go by what they see, women go by what they hear. And I'm telling you.
Well, some, because that's what we want to be
the
careful
vast
not to
majority.
do, and that's the stereotype. Because I'm not the bout it woman. What do you mean if I can cook? What you won't get that here.
Yeah,
You won't
Like,
get that here. To me, that's a simple question. Do you cook? Yeah, I cook. I cook very well. I'm a Georgia peach. I love to cook, but I don't want to cook all the time.
And,
But
and
you-
I hear people like, you can cook, and then like, yeah, no.
But see, what you're saying, Nancy, is generational. You Gen X. We're talking about millennials and Gen Zs, and it's okay to ask, somebody like Nancy in our age bracket if they could cook. These chick that's under the age of 40, you can't ask them nothing like that. Now, I don't date women under the age of 40 too much. The furthest I'll go is maybe 38, but still, I'm just saying. That's just me though, and I can't go no more than about 5 years older. So 51, if you're 51 and 38, between 38 and 51, you're all right with me.
You guys are hilarious. Omar, you're mighty quiet.
And this wasn't me. That was Darryl and Ray. I had no dog in the fight.
Omar said he gonna ask her. Omar said, I want to know. You tell me.
But well, I never. The way that comes up is in casual conversation. I'll do things like, so what'd you have for dinner today or whatever? And if she eating McDonald's every day, I mean, she got to cook. If she got kids, she should be cooking because you got to feed kids. I mean, I think that's just easy. It's easy to find out. You can find that out real quick. If she eating McDonald's and Chick-fil-A every other day, she ain't cooking nothing. It's just,
and that's what I'm saying. That stuff will show up pretty quickly, right?
yeah, that's an easy
an example,
one.
though. That's just an example.
It's just an example.
Yeah, that's just an example. But
right.
All right, we're good, Sherry.
We're good. All right.
We're good. What are some common challenges believers might face when trying to date?
Say that one more time.
Didn't hear that.
What are some common challenges believers may face when they're trying to date?
So people not being who they say they are. You ask people if they say that, oh, I go to so and so church, they would ask you. I didn't ask you that. That person can't save you. I asked you where you saved. Were you born again, blood washed, bought with the blood of Jesus? That's what I asked you. That's a simple yes or no. And you believe it or not, it's a lot of people that can't answer that question. And I'm like, oh boy, okay, whatever you say. But yet here we are, still single.
And then there's a difference between churchgoers and those who have a relationship with Yahuwah. So there's a difference.
Right.
Anyone else?
There's a lot of challenges. You can run the gamut on the challenges. I mean, I think that two different people, believers or not, but believers. I mean, the way you was raised can be a challenge.
Yeah.
Which you saw, which how you was taught to be coming up, and how was it? It can be conflict. There are so many things that can cause conflict and challenge. If a person is still basing what they're doing now off the previous relationships that went bad, but yet they trying to be with you, but they're holding you to things that happened to them before, that's a challenge to overcome.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Even though they may be a nice, sweet person, but then when they get triggered by something that happened before, they project that onto you. That's challenging.
It is.
That is challenging. And you like this person, and you hope that, well, maybe they'll get delivered, but a person's deliverance only comes when they're willing to let go.
Absolutely.
So now you find yourself trying to meet those things and trying to soothe and heal those areas that you're not qualified to heal, the areas you didn't break. And so that's challenging. And there's a lot of people who are broken and wounded believers that are believers.
Yes.
Sing, dance, speak in tongues and everything, and not whole.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How can these be addressed or overcome?
Say that again.
How can these challenges be addressed or overcome? I'm talking to Omar because he answered this question first. So.
These challenges can be addressed or overcome is when the person is accountable for the things and they confess them and acknowledge them. They have to set the accountability. Like, I have this issue. this has happened to me before, and I'm living out of this place still, and I need deliverance. And they have to let go and aggressively go after their deliverance so they can be free and they can have productive, fruitful relationships going forward. Honesty is key, and the ability to let go is absolutely necessary. That's how.
True. Nancy, what are some common challenges believers may face when trying to date?
Oh, you repeated the question again?
I do. Let me repeat
Oh, okay.
it.
I was just listening to see where you asking a new one.
No.
Yeah. I don't, going back to what I said at the very beginning of the podcast, like if you know that you're not ready to be in a relationship because you've got issues that unresolved issues, like really, really deep and unresolved issues, I don't think you should be pursuing anybody, because nobody else should have to be the recipient of the of your pain that you haven't resolved, that you haven't taken steps to resolve. I want to go into, some people think a relationship is half and whole, but I want to go in whole. I want to go in, or I want to go in with my work already done. I had a lot of issues, but I've been to therapists, and I've the first excuse a lot of women make when a guy does something wrong is, I didn't have my dad, and I didn't have it, and they have that issue that they've never talked to you about. That person that you're pursuing or developing a relationship with should know that too. This is where I've been. When you get there, all of the relationship don't have to start off deep, but have some resolve already before, because that's like just carrying some baggage into a relationship, and I don't think that's fair to another person, especially if that person is somebody that's intentionally dating, that's ready, that's a good question right there. Are you even ready to be in a relationship with anybody? There's a difference between wanting to, because lonely will make you want to be in a relationship, being by yourself, and the time that it's been, the last date I had will just make you want to be in a relationship. But are you even ready to be in a relationship? Because that man don't have to be your father. That man don't have to take responsibility for what your brother did, or what your last relationship did with that abusive man. All men aren't abusive. All men aren't the same, and a lot of women are so messed up in their, with what they've gone through, that they can't be in relationships. Just speaking on this side, there was a time in my life it would not have been good. I wasn't in one, but it would not have been good for me to be in one, because I was very angry about the way I had been treated. I didn't have examples of a man that treated me right. Not my dad, not my children's father. I don't have a lot of men under my belt. I'm not being funny. I'm just being honest.
Right.
So I don't have a whole array of guys, but I didn't have that. I have 4 brothers, but I didn't. There's a certain thing that as the baby of the family and as your sister, that I didn't get. So I don't have a whole lot of examples of being covered in relationships and men saying I'm sorry for their wrong. But that does not mean that I shouldn't do the work and cause this and be a headache to this man who I say that I want to be in a relationship. So get yourself together. That's what I'd say. Or don't even try. If it's that deep, don't even try to be in a relationship.
Can I say something?
But Nancy, you know what though? To your point, right? Some people, they believe they're actually healed. Right. But what has happened, they buried it. And they might really feel that they're ready and they like this person so much, but they don't realize the moment they get triggered by something that remind them before, and it may not be that, it may just feel like before, all of it comes up. But they thought they were healed.
Let me say this. If a guy shows me that he's abusive, because that's the worst thing that I've been through in a relationship, that's physical abuse. So if a guy says that, if a guy tells me that he's not abusive, and I find out in the relationship after I'm healed from what I've been through that he is abusive, from a healed standpoint, and I can only speak for me because I do get what you're saying, Omar. Yeah. But from a healed standpoint, that's just a red flag. That's just, okay, I didn't know it. Right. It's unfortunate, but that's not something that I'm not going to deal with. My father used to say in most of his sermons, don't ever let anybody take you back from where God has brought you from. So I'm not going back into that shell of being afraid. And that happened when I was a young girl. I was a girl. I was a young woman, but I was still, my brain wasn't even developed at 20. You know what I'm saying? And so now the person that I am now, you show me that later, I show you where you can go, because but that's from a healed standpoint. I'm not going to take steps backwards when I'm healed. Amen. Help me, Lord. I love this joker, but I'm not putting up with that.
You know
what I'm saying? Women have left men that they were in love with based on what they were not going to deal with anymore.
Right.
Deuces, I can deal with my feelings. But you got to be grown though. You got to be seasoned. You got to be helped. You got to know who God is in your life. You know, that's where you have to be. And that's yeah, I get it though. Because you're right. Some people don't know that they're healed, that they think they are. And then that you got to know your triggers too. That's some representatives. They disappear and then all that stuff shows up. Yeah, you just have to have some. My dad used to say you got to be thick-skinned and know who you are. Because if you don't know who you are and what you deserve and how worthy you are of not being in that, do y'all know how many women and men are in abusive relationships, not necessarily physical, and it's because they don't even know their own worth and they stay in it just because they want somebody so bad. So I just say you just got to do the work. We talk about doing the work, but who's doing the work?
You know, can I say something real quick? I want to talk about something that Nancy had talked about. I'm gonna tell you, and I've been in this position maybe twice. No man that's healed or woman that's healed want to be in the position of an unhealed person's first great person or first good man, first good woman. That person will take everything they done went through out on you and chalk it up to, I never knew, I never had this before. Well, you're not about to have it now because I'm out of here. That happened to me in a very significant relationship, and it didn't take me long to figure it out. But it happened. Don't nobody want to be in that position. I can tell you that from firsthand knowledge. Don't nobody want to be in that position. So work on yourself as soon as possible, please.
Okay. Anybody else?
So I'm gonna just drop something in there because there are times I tend to come from a little different perspective, right? I understand that we all have past, right? And we're coming into a relationship with hurts, and going back to also some of the things that I said. You have to know that you are ready. You can't think that you're ready. You got to know. You have to be able to dealing with the things that have happened to you in past relationships. So for me, I'm not when triggers happen, because quite honestly, for me, triggers are going to happen, right? I may see something, I may flash back to, hey, this happened in my previous relationship. So I'm not overly concerned about that. I'm concerned about with what becomes the step after that, right? I'm concerned about what are the steps after that. And that's where a mature person comes in. That because, again, if you can sit me down, or if I can sit you down, if I can lay it down and say, hey, you did this, it didn't feel good to me because of this, and without even trying to bring everything back here. But, you know, these are triggers. We all have the different triggers, right? And we can say, hey, this has happened to me. So going back to communication, can we really talk about that, right?
Yeah.
Can we really talk about what was done or said that, you know, triggered something, and understand that? Because I'm understanding that I'm not a perfect person. I didn't come in here without, you know, some scars along the way, and some of them are still wounded. You know, they're healed, but the wound is still there, right? And I'm not going to try to pour it for myself. I'm not going to try to pour it out upon you, but there might be something that triggered that, right? And we should be in a place where I can say, hey, you know, you did this, it didn't feel nice for that reason. And if we're taking each other seriously, then we'll address that appropriately, right? Okay, you know, how do you feel about this? Well, what, you know, even talk about it. So I'm going to look at it and say, yes, I do realize that we all have a past. We all come in with certain things. But when those come up, if you're going to build a relationship, this is part of purposeful intention. Because to a certain extent, now I'm not saying that I'm responsible for everybody here. To a certain extent, I'm going to be responsible for some of your healing, right? Because I'm going to be able to show you the things that you didn't see, right? I'm going to have to take you through. If you're in a somebody who's abusive, whether physically or verbally, right? I'm gonna have to take you through that. Hey, here is what something normal should look like, right?
Right.
Here, the things that you're missing. Here's what I can do to fulfill that and be able to help us to live together, right? Purposeful intention. If we're going somewhere, a part of it I'm gonna have to pick up. I'm not saying I should pick up everything, right?
Right.
But there's a part of it we each should be able to pick up from each other, pick up with each other, and help move past and help fully heal from that.
I love it.
Great.
They say a good person to help you unpack your, not just unpack your baggage, but at least help you carry it, and sometimes unpack it. So I'm with. It take a patient person to be what Ray is talking about, and a lot of people want microwave situations right now. I need to put you in here 2 minutes, let you get this infrared heat, and let's go from there. And I just along the way.
I actually believe that individual, Yah has already have someone designed for them. And so that person will come with patience. That person will come with compassion. And that person will be the person that individual needs. That's just my belief in it.
Okay, can I ask you a question? Are you saying that you believe that there's only one person for everybody, or?
That never came out of my mouth.
Now, that's why I'm asking to get clarity. What I'm
saying is, there are people that is for. There's someone for everyone.
Right.
Or there may be.
I believe that there's one kind of person for everybody.
Okay.
One kind of person. One, because yeah.
Oh.
This is good.
I don't know.
It's good to me. I
don't know.
I'm enlightened.
Yeah.
I love it.
We can move a little further. This is really funny. I love insiders. Okay. So we got to stop because we're also on audio and they're not going to know what is going on. How do social and cultural expectations influence the way believers approach dating? And with purposeful intentions, of course.
That's a rant. I'm going to let y'all answer that because I go into a rant with that one. Y'all go ahead.
Ask it again, Sherry.
How do social and cultural expectations influence the way believers approach dating with purposeful intentions?
Wow.
Next, you need to turn your volume up.
That's a whole lot. That's like 3 questions in one.
Basically, in what ways can individuals balance external pressures with their personal beliefs?
Goodness. So I'm going to answer that a little bit, and so for a reason, I'm going to take out believer out there, just for the purpose of me answering this question, and especially for those who are listening who are not believers, right? Okay. And me coming from a different background, a different culture, right? That's different. Things that I born Jamaican, grew up that way, will always be that way. I say all the time, you can take me out of Jamaica, but you can't take the Jamaica out of me, right? And that is there forever to stay, right? And so, you come in and you're trying to, if you're dating somebody from a different culture, yes, that does create a little bit of thing, hey, this is the way we do things. And sometimes you might find somebody who's so staunch in their ways, in their cultural ways that, they're not willing to move, right? They're not willing to, hey, this is the way they did it in my culture. So I'm not, this is the way I'm living my life. And so when those things happen, it does cause a strain on a relationship as to, trying to move forward and trying to build.
I agree with Ray. I'm trying not to, but I've because the culture directly dictates how the relationships go in that area where the culture is permeated, right? So over in Africa, it is completely different than here in America.
Right.
It's more orderly. There's respect. There's no gender war. There's no beef with the roles. Everybody's okay with their role. So the culture dictates the whole dating and mating scene. It's structured, it's order. So in America, it's not. It's just more liberal and everywhere. It's a lot of it, it's too much. So I think the culture definitely impacts it in the way, and even in being a believer, as you said, if we're talking about believers in dating, when you look in the Bible, it's a certain culture and a certain role that men and women have, and there's no fuss or cross about it. But then when you get to America, the westernized mindset, it doesn't even line up with the Bible whatsoever. So this Western culture, it kind of muddy the waters when it comes to that.
Mhm. Before we go on, there's a question from one of our viewers. What about the person who is content with being alone?
Do like Paul. Just stay
No,
by
bro,
yourself.
I know how to go and say, do like Paul,
Do like Paul. Just stay by yourself.
be like Shaul. Hallelujah.
Yeah, just sit down somewhere. You ain't gotta be like everybody else. Just do like Paul. Just go around and preach the gospel. That's all.
And that was my other thought about, to the point that it said earlier, that there's somebody for everybody or a type, but it's not, because the reality of it is not. It's not enough men for all the women that's even in the world.
Right.
So everybody that don't have somebody.
Don't stop. Please don't.
I hate the. I hate to say it. I hate this, but it's the truth. We know it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's never been enough men for all the women. That's why Father help me. That's why in the scriptures they had polygyny, because it wasn't enough. I'm sorry. I'm just making a point that there is not in all reality. There's not somebody for everybody, because there's not enough men for all the women. I'm just saying. Don't stone me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Go down to a rabbit hole. Oh.
I'm sorry. Don't stone me. But it's the truth.
Are you opening up the line for phone calls today?
I am going to open it up.
Oh boy.
Mm-hmm.
They finna eat us up.
Open it up now.
Make sure y'all see, it's already started.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. If we being real, we just being
all
real.
kind of bubbles busting above my head.
I'm sorry. I love everybody, but the truth is the truth.
I want y'all to make sure y'all understand. Omar said that.
Come on, Omar.
And all your hatred towards Omar.
Yeah.
He the one in the red.
It's okay. I love y'all. It's okay. I could not say it. I'm sorry. I love y'all. But the truth is the truth.
Someone probably needs to hear that. Across the screen is a number that you can call for your comments to be anonymous. It's going to ask you for your name. You can give a fictitious name, or you can just say caller. But you will be on the air and your voice will be heard.
Oh man.
I'm sorry. I mean,
he is stating facts. I saw somebody just right. He's stating facts.
Because if we believe what the Bible said in the last days there'll be 7 women trying to chase one man to marry him. But I didn't write this stuff, so I did not write it.
Omar,
I did not.
Omar, these people don't read the Bible. They don't.
I'm gonna be quiet. I'm gonna be quiet.
Hey, Mr. Dream Killer.
They don't read the Bible, Omar. That's the
You're
part.
right about it, though. He's right.
That don't matter.
I'm just saying. We have to. Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
What you say to that, Nancy? Yikes. Just yikes.
Well, it's the truth. We're authentic on this show. We hold nothing back. We're raw, right?
Yes.
Omar, you finna get us in trouble.
I don't even think we need to finish this question.
Go to the next.
You said we don't need to finish?
What's the question?
Somebody probably riding in the car now and listening to somebody. No, I'm just kidding. Right now, that's what
And
it is. Ooh, nobody's calling in,
mhm.
so we're gonna move on. You guys still want to tackle that question,
I have nothing to say.
right? Move on.
Salty now. Joking. Just joking.
Whew. Wow. What lessons do you learn from this type of experience? So, can you share personal experience where having purposeful intentions positively impact your dating life?
I want y'all to tell y'all stories first, because
I'd
mine
be
gonna be
married
made into
now
a
if I
clip.
had something positive. That
Mine gonna be made into a clip. So y'all go ahead and say what y'all got to say.
but
You can call into 252-623-3205 if you have a question or you want to make a comment. Again, the number is 252-623-3205.
it makes me sad that I can't answer this question.
Answer the
Ask
question.
it one more time.
Can you share personal experience where having a personal or purposeful intentions positively impact your dating life?
Okay, I can. I can. It didn't work, but it let me know that a certain kind of man was not dead. That I was having a conversation with one of my daughters actually earlier today, and I was talking about a past relationship of a person that really cared about how I was doing. It wasn't just a question. I actually loved the way he took time to say, let me settle myself. Let me, get rid of my distractions because I really want to hear how your day went. And he was like that the whole time. Really interested in me. I wrote a poem one time called He's Interested in Me. So there's several things outside of you, like in my beauty, and that let me know that you're interested in me. You're interested in my mind, you're interested in my past, you're interested in what I think about something. Because sometimes you don't run into people that are really interested in you. They just, run with what they see. So I've had a relationship where that person was that person in the poem that I wrote. They was like genuinely interested in me, but they turned out to be very, very insecure and jealous. So it killed the relationship. But
Yeah, that's a rough one.
yeah,
Those two right there. That's a relationship killer right there.
yeah.
So can
And
I
I was
ask you a question,
devastated because
Denise?
I thought, oh, this is it. I'm about to make an announcement. This is it. But the night before I went to Italy, that joker said, "Don't go," and meant it. But that was ministry for me. That's something God opened the door. I spoke that into existence, and it happened. And so the guy that I'm supposed to be with understands my ministry and stuff. And it got really wild. But he did show me a lot of positive things that I would want in a guy, honestly.
So can I ask a question, Nancy? Do you think that the person was interested in you or interested in controlling you?
He was not controlling me. He was really interested in me. See, what I mean by that, Daryl, is that a lot of guys don't even ask you anything about you.
Right.
They don't even ask how you're doing and mean it and really want to hear how you're doing, or how did that affect you, or does that, is this okay? Are you okay with this? They skip all of that. And and so it's important to women, they wrote a book about it. I can't remember the exact title. Women are from Venus, men are from Mars, something like that.
Yep.
We're different creatures as it is. But when a man can come over on my side and bend a little to be, or a lot, to be somebody that lets me know that you're not just interested in this, whatever that is, or something else, but you're interested in me, my thoughts, my dreams, how I feel about a thing. There are some guys that don't ask nothing. And so that lets me know when you're interested in me. He wasn't controlling at all. But when I got ready to go overseas, something happened, something triggered. One of those triggers came up, and he wanted me to unpack.
The day before you was about to leave?
The night before I left.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
Boy.
So I knew when I got back on the United States soil that was not going to be something that I continued, because that's part of who I am.
Thank you for sharing. Omar.
Whew. Can you repeat the question? I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry right now.
That's okay. You're still trying to recover. Can you share a personal experience where having purposeful intentions positively impacted your dating life?
I mean, purposeful intention is always positive impact in the beginning, but I feel like I'm also purposely intentional about being a man in a relationship, right? And my experience, I've always been challenged about my position and how I move in a relationship. Sometimes I feel like some ladies want men to operate like women, and we don't.
Oh, come
And
on, bro. Now that's
I'm
a
not.
topic. Yeah.
I'm a masculine man, and I mean what I say, and I have vision, I have direction, and it's not always going to be, you know what I mean? So
Right.
even my intention is good. That rubbed some ladies the wrong way, because and I talked about the culture thing earlier. Some listen, ladies, SOME, don't nobody throw a rock. I'm not like that. Some ladies are very strong. They're very strong-willed, and they have, that strong fortitude. And what happened, it causes a clash with me, because I'm and so yes, it's always good in the beginning, the positive impact. But then when you also intentionally stand on your square, it becomes problematic for some. So it's
get
both.
labeled a narcissist. Keep on.
I'll take whatever label. I'm all truth.
They're gonna call
It's
you
facts.
a narcissist.
It's okay. But yeah, I've experienced it on both sides, and so it's
I won't ask you part two. Ray.
Oh, me? Oh. Put it down first.
No, go ahead, Ray.
Where you go, Nancy? Where you go?
I thought Mother Flowers was trying to kidnap you there and get you off so she can come on. The one thing I can think about was, here, this young lady that I was trying to date at one point, and going back to Nancy, just kind of showing that I care about her and what she was going through, just having an issue with somebody, and I'm trying to talk her through it. I say, hey, you need to let something go so that you can be better, right? And I'm coming to this from a positive standpoint, and it went bad real fast, right? Because it was like, you don't care about me. I'm just like, I am trying to get you to let some trivial thing go. I don't even call it trivial because it's serious for her, but I'm like, can you see this? And going back to somebody who tells you that they want somebody who's there for them and never looked at it, I'm trying to be there for her. It's just like you're supporting the other person. I'm like, no, I'm concerned about you because you're over here triggered by this. And the other person probably they're having a party because they don't care about what happened. But, something that backfired on me because I'm like, then I get, put in a box that, well, I don't care about her feelings and all of that. So it's one of these slippery slope. It can work for you and it cannot work for you, right?
Right.
When you're trying to make these positive changes.
So what lesson did you learn from this experience?
Well, just from that person, I realized that now we can't we can't go anywhere with that. That lesson was that this is not going anywhere. We can't go anywhere because I wouldn't stop doing what I do for the woman that I'm going to try to be with. Make sure that she is mentally, emotionally, everything okay, right? I'm not going to stop doing that. That's a part of me as a man and trying to build her up and make sure that she is confident in what she's doing and she have all her emotions in proper checks and balances. I'm not going to stop doing that. But as far as that, I get what it probably, I still don't know what it taught me about how I'd approach that the next time, but certainly, it was one of these that's going to leave a mark. That's like, okay, next time I'm coming somewhere, how do I approach somebody who's going through something like that without hopefully making that seem like I'm not for them.
Is someone cooking in the background here? Pots and pans and everything else.
No.
Oh no, that is the wind that is whipping around my place and is flipping up the things on the side of the building. That's what it is. It's the wind. Yeah.
Oh my. Okay.
So if I blow away in a minute, just keep going.
They still celebrated their Super Bowl victory over there. That's that whirlwind coming through there.
Oh gosh. You guys want to finish on with this question? Ray, Daryl, come on.
What positive thing happened from it? That's what you're asking. From my boundaries? That's basically what you're asking, right?
That's basically, yeah.
I remember this time. I dated this woman for a short period of time, right? Very short. And I'm telling you, short. Anyway, I remember God had told me not to compromise when it comes to, he told me not to compromise. So I was like, she said she know who Jesus is, but I believe she's just taking a break. Let me tell you something. And this is the honest to God truth. I went before God. I said, this is all I said. I said, God, if this is not of you, break it up. I promise you, y'all on everything I love. 25 minutes later, man, this woman got into it. I don't get over until 25 minutes. I'm just giving it 25 minutes. 25 minutes. She took me up and down. I'm like, okay, God, I'll listen. I'll listen from now on out. And I'm telling you now, and I didn't find this out till later. She was into a whole lot of stuff, and I'm like, oh, okay, I get it now. It was a lot of stuff that wouldn't serve my purpose. That it will go against everything that I believed, everything that I tried to teach, everything I tried to live my life. It went completely against it. I said, okay, God knows best, because I thought she was for me. I ain't even gonna lie to you. It was long distance, but I was willing to give it a try. So I love the positive thing that came from that is I didn't end up in jail or hell behind something I thought that was fine. And that's just a mild story. I'm gonna keep it right there because this is a family-friendly podcast. In Jesus' name.
You'll tell us the rest on your podcast.
Y'all learn everything else later on tonight.
Y'all too much. So we can go on to the next question. Or you guys have something else to say with that one? We're good?
I'm good.
Good.
Ooh, I think we need a commercial break or something. What advice would you give to young believers who are just beginning to explore dating?
Listen to your parents. We'd have been down that road before. We done tried everything. We done snuck out. We done done all that we need to do. Trust me. Listen to your parents. I got children. I try to tell them, but sometimes people don't want that free wisdom. They want to buy their wisdom. But I'm telling you, it will behoove you to listen to the ones that have gone before you, because if not, I tell mine, take that free wisdom, because it may have cost me $100, but it may cost you $100,000. You ain't got to buy something that the family already owns. That my best friend like to say, ain't nothing worse than going to the store to get a gallon of milk and you already got 2 in the refrigerator. I'm telling you, take that free wisdom that comes your way, and always, always, always make your foundation what the Word of God says. Not anybody else, not anything else. Go to the Word for yourself to see what God says about treating you as a person and all of these different things.
I agree. You said young believers, right?
Yes.
Right. I agree with everything Darryl said. In addition to that, the wisdom, seeking wise counsel,
Yep.
and also you said young believers. So then I don't think anybody should accept. You said young believers. Anything less than what the Bible say you're supposed to have if you're a
Right.
believer.
Right.
If the Bible say these characteristics of a wife, she's supposed to have this, and this. I don't care how much she shout, scream, roll the floor, whatever. If she don't have this, and this, then she's not ready for she's not a wife according to the Bible. And the husband, he's supposed to do these things, this, according to the Bible. If he has not displayed those characteristics that a Bible said that's of a husband, becoming of a husband, and he's not reached the capacity ready to be a husband yet. Do not accept anything less than what the Bible describes as being the wife or describes as being the husband. That's it.
Omar on fire today.
He
He should be
is.
clips.
He is. You're gonna have a bunch of shorts.
Yeah. He needs to be on TikTok. That's what he did.
He is. He's hilarious. Give it up for Omar.
I would tell the younger generation to not get married so soon. I think that there are people that are mature. They're not mature enough to handle such a serious commitment.
Mm-hmm.
Thus, so many splits. And I would say to both sides, not just women, that abuse is not love. And
Right.
there are a lot of young women in the church that I see paying for relationships, being the person that's doing everything in relationships. What you don't speak up about and what you continue is what that person will expect. And that's when it's good. We throw around the word self-esteem and self-worth, but both of them are very, very important as it relates to a relationship, because when you love yourself, when you fall in love with yourself and know who you are in God, there's a certain thing you won't do or take.
Right.
And some people think that some things are love. Well, if I do this, then they'll love me. Or if I buy this, or if I pay for everything, or if I see that so much. And you gotta. And I always say, maybe to myself or quietly, they don't love themselves, because when you fall in love with yourself, I love God. You also need to love you.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you love yourself, there's just a certain thing you won't do. And when you love God, there's a certain thing you won't do. But as it relates to relationships, there's certain thing you won't take if you feel good about yourself. You see a person that puts up with abuse for years and years and years. I was her. I put up with it for years because I thought it meant love. He loves me. It's not love. Love yourself. And get that wisdom so you'll know, and so you'll see. Stay in your word and learn all of that stuff that Omar said. So you'll know that is not what I'm supposed to, what I was designed to even be with. God didn't create us to be abused in any way, mentally, emotionally, physically, in any way. Love yourself.
Come on here, Nancy.
Ray.
Yeah, I don't have too much to add there. I agree with what everyone says. The only thing I'd add, and Darryl kind of alluded to this earlier, if you get an inkling in your spirit saying stop or wait, hold up, go with it.
Go with it.
Go with it.
Yep.
Right. That's the only thing I'd have to add there.
You're absolutely right, Pauline. Love doesn't hurt.
Nope.
Yeah. So we have our last question. Well, maybe it'll be our last question. Who knows? See how this one goes. In what ways can church leaders and mentors support believers in fostering purposeful intentions in their dating lives?
Oh boy. Oh man, I got a guest coming on my show, on the Daryl show, and we plan to talk about this actually. She's a great woman of God. I've never laid eyeballs on her in person, but I found her on YouTube, and it was just by happenstance. But she has this video asking, how does the church, or does the church keep women single? Right? Her name is Cynthia. I want y'all to please check out the episode when it comes out. I'll let you know when. But anyway, the church has a is a it should be more of a proponent for relationships, but a lot of times churches, especially churches that are, I gotta go in Omar's vein, especially churches that are overrun by women. It's a male leader, a male leadership, but got a lot of single women in there. A lot of times, those women are caught up, tied up, in love with the pastor versus doing what it is they need to do to go out and get a relationship. So I would want believers to not wait for somebody to come through those doors or whatever the case may be and try to lock them down. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not one of those people who want to date in the church. Yes, do I want to save women? Absolutely. But I don't date women at my church that I go to anyway, because what I need some room. I don't need people A hating, B hating, C hating, because no matter how you try to cut it, if you don't choose the right one, if all the rest of them gonna hate on you. Then if you choose one that you like and it doesn't work out, they still gonna hate on you because you can't date somebody else. It's just a whole little thing.
Mhm.
So I do believe that the church should take more of a responsibility, or help, at least help, not necessarily responsibility. It's not the church's responsibility, but I think we should do a better job at trying to get young people together, because if not, like in my mom's church right now back at home, and no young people in the church. Everybody's older, and things like this. There's a reason why we have to replenish the earth, because we want to keep the vision going. But I can say more, but I'm gonna let somebody else talk right now. But y'all, hey, I said that, but Old Rock said that at Omar though.
All right, repeat the question one more time. I'm ready, Dow. I'm ready.
In what ways can church leaders and mentors support believers in fostering purposeful intentions in their dating lives?
All right, so I think that first and foremost, I think that the leaders have to be an example of fostering good relationships, really, for it to trickle down, so that they can be an example to those who are seeking covenant relationships. Right? I think they have to tell the truth about relationships. That it's not all road. They have to teach the truth about these things, and so they can foster, you know what I mean, realistic expectations about relationships, and going forward. So that's what I think. I think that those things should happen, being an example, teaching the truth, teaching what the purpose of a husband is, what the purpose of a wife is. Because when we don't know the purpose of something, we repurpose it and misuse it, and it causes problems. So I think that teach the proper roles, teach what is expected of a man, what is expected of a wife and a husband. These things foster realistic expectations, which, in my opinion, will yield more successful relationships in the future for future generations.
Amen.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Yes. If I had some snapping fingers, I would have did it. All right.
Oh, me?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna mostly agree with, not mostly, all the way agree with Omar. I think that there has to be that right teaching from the pulpit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it can't be geared towards, one of the worst sermons I've ever heard. I think, the pastor of the church was preaching and was preaching love your wife. The whole thing sounded like he was apologizing to his wife for something. The whole thing. And I'm like, dude, if you want to apologize, do that at
Do that
home,
when you get home.
right? You
Exactly.
don't have to come in front of the congregation. Do that at home, right?
Right.
But but just kind of going back to Omar, is that you gotta use the pulpit for the right reason, and you gotta teach a young man, you gotta teach a young women, and then not only the pastor, but again, as the scripture said, that the women gotta teach a young women, the men gotta teach a young man. So it's a community, right? So everyone has their role to play, and lastly, the young people gotta learn to listen, right?
Right.
Because they love to run wild with their. I was young once, so I know I love to run wild on emotions, right? And long term, that does not end well. And yes, they won't listen when we tell them that won't end well running on emotions. So I think it's a big it's a whole family thing, right? The pastor got to teach right. The men got to mentor the men. The women have to mentor the women. And the young people have to listen and take it in.
Titus chapter 2.
Right.
Amen.
Nancy, I'll let you close us out on this question.
I think I agree with all that the gentlemen have said. I also think that there should be some testimonies in there. You see your pastor been married 20, 25, 30, 40 years. Tell me how you did it, because it wasn't all good.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't make it there, without anything. My bishop, who's my foundation, as far as the pastor, the teacher in my life. He would always talk about this time and he was married to his bride, like over 50 something years. But he would tell us, a very sharp man. He was always 30 years younger than what he really is in here and in his body. He died when he was 97. He was just an amazing man. And he would tell us about a time him and his wife got into an argument and she left him. And, but he found her at the church on her knees at the altar when he went to look for her. She packed and left and went to the altar. And he said, instead of me watching her pray, I got down there with her. And we ended up working it out and going back home together. We need to hear, those young people need to hear. At that time, I've learned a lot from how you get to 60 years, how you get there. I love to see old people that have been married forever say, look at each other, their voices, they'll say, oh, baby, we didn't go to bed angry. We talked it out. We never slept in six separate rooms, sugar. Tell them.
That sounds like Mother
Testify.
Flowers.
Tell them how you got there,
Mm-hmm.
So there'll be some hope. All young people know to do is argue and be done. Tell them how you got there. Tell the truth. Tell them that it wasn't always good. You ain't got to 50 years and everything came up roses.
Right.
So just be honest. Testify.
I agree, DJ.
Absolutely.
I have some bonus questions that we can close out on because, yeah. So believers may find it challenging to meet potential partners who share the same faith and values. Is that your story? Do you agree? Disagree?
Repeat that again, please.
Believers may find it challenging to meet potential partners who share the same faith and values. Do you agree with that?
Sometimes, but why are you looking for those people? That would be my question. Why are you looking for those people? I mean, I think we should all start with a foundation. Again, I believe Christ would be the foundation. Everything after that, we can navigate, in my opinion, everything else. Okay, well, is Jesus Lord? Yes. Okay, let's go with that. Then we can get into the semantics of who it is that we are okay with. Do you like to sleep with the air conditioner on 68? Or do you like to sleep with the air conditioner on 72? The problem with us as believers when it comes to dating is a lot of people look for themselves. And you were never meant to think like the person you're with. You're supposed to think with the person you're with. So
all right, Daryl, that's good.
Her ministry and everything that's supposed to complement us. That's what brings balance in who it is that we are. I don't need another Daryl. I promise you, I don't need or want another Daryl. But I think that's where we get messed up at. We look for somebody. Oh, I just want somebody just like me. You're a fool. And I tell you, 3 of age, you're a fool because you don't need 2 of you. It's 1 of you is enough. So go with who it is that balances you, that gives you everything that you don't have.
Absolutely. Anybody else? I have another bonus, and we can close out on that one because I think this is something I tried and found it to be overwhelming. Online dating, while it provides more options, it can be difficult to discern a person's true beliefs and commitment online. Do you agree?
I must say, yeah.
Yeah. Nobody else have anything to say?
I think it's some genuine people online. I don't think that it's everybody ain't, a shyster. I believe it's some genuine people online. So that's just my opinion though. Y'all. Yeah, who
Okay.
y'all got?
I would hope that if I'm a part of a dating site, that there's somebody on there like me, but and you if you decide to do that, you have to kind of go in that with an open mind, because I met some couples that met on dating sites and they have a great marriage, but I think more so than there is normal people on there. There's a lot of people on there just gaming, and you just have to be careful with dating sites.
Discernment is your best friend.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And mine is, yeah.
Well, that's true. Oh my God, I put this in. We're going to come to a close. If anyone has anything specifically that they would like to share as we go out, you can do that. Something that you want to leave a takeaway for our audience. Are there any questions on you guys have any questions?
I have a takeaway.
DJ.
Oh, here's a question for you, Daryl. Where are the genuine people, Daryl?
I can't answer that question because my name ain't spelled right. So I'll just kidding. I don't
You know what?
I don't know where they are. I mean, honestly, it's a lot of people out there. It's a lot of you just gotta use discernment. Sometimes like we could talk about pee in the dating pool, but we also talk about the time we left a few drops in the dating pool as well. I need people to understand we all have gotten somebody ready for somebody else, and vice versa. Somebody has gotten us ready for somebody else. So you just gotta learn how to pick through them. Like you at the Goodwill, you find something and just be like, you know what? I can work with this. We're gonna thrift this, and we're gonna repurpose it. We're gonna do what we need to do. But it's some great people out there. I think people get caught up in their own minds and their own thoughts when it comes to looking for somebody, because we overthink it sometimes. Sometimes, I've seen people get rejected for the craziest stuff. Now, I'm a person, I'm like this. If I know it's something I don't like and I see it from the beginning, I'm not going to approach a woman with that in the first place. So because I've already gone through what it is, I know what I like, or what it is, I know what I don't like. So I'm not going to. I'm going to choose my mate with God, just like everybody else should do. Hey, okay, God, this is her stats. She lines up with your word. Is this it? That's all I'm gonna do. But we just got to use that discernment. So,
True. Anyone else?
I think the only thing I'd add there with dating and I found is that any and everyone can say that I'm looking for somebody who loves the Most High, who loves God. Everybody can call themselves a Christian. The reality, if it is like when I said, I go down to it, I say, you can say that, but I want to see what that means to you, right? I want to see how you live in your life. I want to see what are you doing to show that? How are you stepping into that? And so, so sometimes when people say that, that they're looking for God, sometimes I take that with a grain of salt again, because again, one of these things, you have to show me that, right? You have to show me that this is what you're really living for, that you love, that the words that came out of your mouth matches the life that you want to live, right? So.
Okay. All right. That's it, guys.
Okay.
Go ahead.
No, I just wanted to say that I think that we, far it's important to use those characteristics in that Bible we say believe in as the measuring stick,
Mhm.
right? Ensure and seek the Most High to see if this person is part of your purpose, where you're going, the direction
Mm-hmm.
you're going in. Because when people come together, it is for purpose. It's not just I like him, I like her. Because you can be in the same faith and not be meant to be together at all. Period. You can be in the same faith and have different values. So use those measuring sticks and those observations, and don't try to build the build because it's going to go bad. Hallelujah.
Mhm.
Thank you, DJ. I appreciate you correcting that.
You guys are so much. I always look forward to our monthly get-togethers. Don't stress me out, but y'all, it's good when we come together.
Stress you out.
I don't respond, but we're gonna say that to after backstage.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I enjoyed this conversation. I think it was much needed for this day and age. It was really needed because at my age, I'm dating with a purpose. I'm not going to be dating 5, 6, 7 years. My son calling him uncle, and no, we're not doing all that.
Mr. Nate. My Mr. Nate outside.
Mr. Johnny.
Yeah.
But yeah, so thank you guys for availing yourselves again, and I really appreciate you. I really do. You don't know how much I do, but I do. Great discussion, everyone. Yes, it was.
Thank you,
We're going.
Pauline.
We are continuing in our series on Fret Not Small Beginnings, and we have a small business showcase going on all month with our Black-owned businesses.
Awesome.
And we have Tony Cranford of my home state of Connecticut will be joining us on Wednesday. She has many businesses, both her and her husband. So I'm not sure if both of them are going to be on, or if she's just going to be on, or what. But we will have a treat coming from her. I am not dating until God knocked me on my head. I agree, DJ.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Man.
Thank you. We love you too, Pauline. Thank you for loving this podcast. If you haven't already, please subscribe to our YouTube channel at His Will for Your Life. And you can also listen to us on the go at audio on Apple Podcasts. So you can listen in your commute, in your workout, walking, in your office, wherever you are, you can listen in. So we appreciate if you do that. And there is a subscription fee in the audio, and you will get 10% off any of our merchandise, and also be the first to hear any exclusive shows that we may have. So we may have some who don't want to be seen, but they want to be recorded, and you will get your first opportunity to hear that before everyone else does. So that's it for tonight. Thank you again for joining us. Remember, it's okay not to be okay, just as long as we don't stay in that place. Have a wonderful week, and we love you all, and stay safe. I hear that there are some pretty storms coming across our states, and I want everyone to be safe. If you can't go out, don't go out. If you don't need to go out, don't go out. That's what I meant to say.
Absolutely.
I'm going to get my snacks, and we're going to be locked in. So thank you, everyone. I appreciate you. You guys don't go anywhere because I want to finish this conversation. Is that all right?
Cool.
Let's do it.
If I can figure out how to get out of here, we'll be all right. Oh my goodness.
God bless y'all. Remember, direct all rocks towards Omar. All stones towards Omar.
Omar. Woo, I can't wait till these clips come out. You guys look for the shorts tonight or tomorrow. Good night, everyone.
Nice.
Good night.
Join us again next week for another riveting, informative segment of His Will for Your Life podcast with Sherry and her special guest,